Marvel Rivals is Chinese Communist Party propaganda. That's right, I said it. We're all thinking it, and I said it. Yeah, I can already hear the comments from people who won't watch this video, but will see the title and the thumbnail, and they'll leave a scathing comment saying I'm a grifter or I'm full of crap. And to those people, I say, thanks for the engagement. I could really use it right now. YouTube is unhappy with me lately. But yes, dear viewer, Marvel Rivals is propaganda, or a form of propaganda. Perhaps propaganda isn't even the right term, but it is accomplishing the prerogative of its creators. Marvel Rivals' main function is to divert Western eyes and Western dollars away from Western products. That sounds like conspiracy, but I promise it's just good old business practice. Let's talk about it. Welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, where we're covering topics like this pretty often. Out of the gate, I want to give a preface about where I stand on the game, so that you know my discussion points aren't coming from some bias. I am usually terrible at competitive multiplayer games. Overwatch Day 1, I was the Bastion player that ran right through into enemy gunfire. I don't play Call of Duty. I don't play Fortnite, and I don't really play any multiplayer games save for Gears of War, which I actually am very good in. That being said, I have played around 25 matches of Marvel Rivals. I am awful with most characters, but I seem to be pretty good with Groot. And hey, teammates, stop shooting the walls. If I put up walls, it's to block the enemy team out. Stop shooting the walls if you're on my team. Marvel Rivals is fun, and it has some things in it that, well, I certainly didn't experience when I played Overwatch in 2016, like being able to change characters with every respawn. That's pretty cool. The distance from respawn point to the objective doesn't seem nearly as far as Overwatch maps do. Either the distance from respawning to objective is closer, or the characters just move that much faster. I like that very much. Something I hate about multiplayer games is that upon death and respawn, you have to run 25 minutes to get back to the objective where you'll promptly get killed again. Rivals is not nearly as respawn insufferable as other games. Now, I could go on, but to be clear, I think the game is fun. So what does that have to do with being propaganda? When you boot the game up, you see Marvel Games, and you think, okay, Disney's involved with this. And then you see NetEase Games. Now, NetEase is the bigger factor here, because Disney did not make this game. NetEase is a Chinese video game company that acquired the license from Disney to make this game. Now, I call them a video game company, and that's what they claim to be, as they create and publish many mobile games, Diablo Immortal being one of them. But they also act as an intermediary between Western-based companies and the Chinese government. China is massive for gaming. This information is not new. It is the aspiration of any Western game developer to get their game into Chinese markets because of how lucrative it can be. But the Chinese government is very stringent on how those games operate inside the Chinese economy. If I'm an American company, I cannot just open for business inside of China. The government doesn't allow that. Also, there's lots and lots of censorship. If my game features negative talk about communism or the Communist Party of China, it will not be allowed to be sold in the country. If it has nudity or gambling or depictions of historical events that paint China's government to be bad guys, I will have a hard time getting it past the Chinese officials. And so that is where NetEase comes in. NetEase acts as a publisher and a distributor for American games inside of China, which means they need to understand how all of those regulations in China works, which means they have connections to the CCP, whether directly or indirectly. And NetEase isn't the only company that acts as a broker between China and the West. Tencent does the same thing, and Tencent is a much more common household name now as of late because of their connections to Ubisoft. Okay, what does this have to do with Marvel Rivals? You just explained the barest bones of Chinese commerce, but what does that have to do with being propaganda? In the same way, that Western game companies want to make money in China, Chinese companies want to make money in the West. All of this is just business. See, over the last 25 to 30 years or so, Chinese companies have been buying into Western companies as stakeholders. Chinese firms have also been creating copycat companies and copycat products of successful Western games. China has been trying to outmaneuver Western companies for dominance in the worldwide video game market. In its first year, Overwatch grossed over $1 billion. Thanks, loot boxes. On LinkedIn, a former vice president of marketing for Blizzard noted that Overwatch 2 had amassed over 50 million players, and that Overwatch 2 earned more than $225 million in just 6 months. That 50 million players was, of course, including the lifetime of Overwatch 1, but all the drama behind Overwatch and its current player base, its current market share, or Twitch numbers aside, put all that aside, these dollars and users I've given you very clearly proved that this hero shooter game makes a lot of money. But you already knew that. People have been trying to clone Overwatch for years. Concord was an Overwatch clone. Star Wars Hunters is an Overwatch clone. Even Overwatch itself was a clone of Team Fortress. Like the hero shooter games, they make money. NetEase and other Chinese companies keep seeing potential inside of Western games, franchises, systems, and intellectual properties. With Western interest in Overwatch waning, and the knowledge that the hero shooter market works for sales, what a better way to eat up all of Blizzard's market share than to put out their own clone and attach it to Marvel? Well, yeah, we know, it's just Marvel Overwatch. All the characters are essentially the same, except now they say I am Groot and Avengers Assemble. Exactly. That is the point. In a marketplace where we're watching AAA developers release $100 million flops like they're Skittles, it is important to note exactly who and what and why games like Marvel Rivals are working. See, it might just be an Overwatch clone with Spider-Man and Venom, but it has personality where Overwatch has gone bland. It has a distinct art style where Concord really didn't. It has $20 cosmetic skins, but if you buy the Battle Pass, you can unlock everything even after the time limit is up. I don't know if other games do that, but this one does. That's player friendly. And I understand, it's like, well, it's a fun game from China, but is that what makes it propaganda? My friends, everything wants to be the Overwatch killer, but to kill Overwatch means that you've essentially knocked out a Western American business. To kill an American business with a Chinese business means that your purchase dollars are going to China. This is something that all video game players should be aware of when they buy skins, games, and DLC. If you do not like the Chinese Communist Party, you might think twice about buying from said company. And you should also know that your American purchase can and will impact American companies. And that's the point. Remember, I said Chinese companies want Western dollars, and now they're releasing really good games with recognizable American IPs in order to do it. You deserve to know that. You deserve to know that Marvel Rivals' intent is to cut an arm off of Blizzard Activision. Now, I'm not saying any of this to defend Blizzard Activision. I swore a long time ago, personally, that I wouldn't buy anything from Blizzard ever again after it was unveiled that they were harassing staff a few years ago. Trust me, this isn't some white knighting for any Western corporation. This whole thing is a symptom of Western corporations eating themselves alive due to their arrogance and hubris, and you deserve to know who all the players in the gaming sphere are. Chinese companies are doing things every day to move into the West. Marvel Rivals, as we see it today, is 2 giant leaps forward in their endeavors. Also, take a look at what Tencent is doing with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is basically becoming a dead husk, and Tencent is coming in like a living parasite to reanimate the body. Look at Remedy. How much of Remedy is owned by Tencent? League of Legends, that's Tencent too. League of Legends is 100% a Chinese company product based off an American creation. And with that, a rabbit hole has been discovered. My friends, this topic doesn't really end here. It is really the beginning of much more and much more research to go, whether for me or for you as well. So join me for that as we talk more probably about this in the future. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire. If this brought you any value, please consider liking the video. If you're new here, consider smashing the subscribe button. Until next time, cancel Disney Plus. Because Disney Plus and Disney both suck. Okay. I am Groot. Bye-bye.